unlike say 20, 30 years ago, now literally we can pop on Instagram and you can always find someone that's better looking than you, has more money than you, has a better relationship with you, a better girlfriend or boyfriend. It's so easy now to find someone who's better than you. And then that also gets you back into your own head. Talk to me about how we can maybe break the cycle or even recognize that this cycle is happening.
Well, I talk a lot about in the book, Laws of Human Nature, that our nature was set by how our brains were wired 200, 300,000 years ago, well before the invention of language. The human brain basically reached its present size somewhere around 200,000 years ago, or maybe a little bit less, okay, before we had language and reasoning powers. So so our brains are wired for a much different environment than what we're living in right now. But some of those qualities, those very primitive qualities in us, were, for instance, our need to compare ourselves to other people, which is the source of what we would call envy. So, for instance, the human brain naturally operates by comparing information. That's how we receive something visually. We compare it to other things that we've seen, and we decide this is good or this is dangerous, etc. So the brain is a comparing machine for comparing information. But we're also a social animal. So it means that we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. So they've noticed that chimpanzees, for instance, who are our ancestors, they've demonstrated that there's definitely signs of envy among chimpanzees. So if a researcher gives a couple of bananas to one chimp and the others are excluded, all of a sudden the other chimps are looking at with what we would call the evil eye, and it gets very dangerous. They might end up like stealing it from or attacking them. Primitive societies, hunter-gatherer cultures, noticed that envy was their most dangerous thing in a tribe. If one person received more meat from a kill than others or received a gift, the other members of the tribe were so envious that they were going to kill that person. So they developed all kinds of rituals to make sure that nobody had more than others. So the moment you received a gift, you felt worried and afraid, and you immediately gave it to other people, right? So they recognized the dangers of envy. So here we are, 200,000 years later, in the most sophisticated, modern, computerized, technologically savvy world. And what are we seeing? The most primitive parts of our nature are actually coming out and flourishing. So that need to compare ourselves, that chimpanzee, that hunter-gatherer quality on Instagram, on Facebook, is now just given a medium for exploding. Because as you say, we can see what everybody else is doing. In the past, we could maybe be envious of a few people around us who we heard got a great job and we didn't get it, etc. But now we have to see the whole world doing all these fantastic, wonderful things. And of course, these fantastic, wonderful things are highly edited. People never put on Instagram their kind of boring moments or their pain or the days where they don't look so good or the holidays that didn't quite turn out or the career decisions that didn't work out. All the pain and suffering that we all deal with every day, we don't post that on Instagram. We edit it and we show our best selves, right? So it's a machine for exacerbating this very powerful, horrible tendency in humans to compare ourselves to others. Okay, so once again, you have to be aware that you yourself are doing this.